A United States senator has returned from visiting a man wrongly deported to El Salvador. Kilmar Abrego Garcia is in detention in his home country despite court orders for the US to facilitate his return.
Our reporter Emily Gramens joins us now from Washington with more on this story. Just talk to us about Garcia's background here, Emily. How did all this play out?
Well, some weeks ago, Kilmar Abrego Garcia was deported by the US government and sent to a quite notorious mega prison in El Salvador. And the US government has since admitted in court documents that this was a mistake. He was in the United States illegally, but he was subject to a court order that barred his return to El Salvador. He's never been convicted of a crime and he has an American wife and child. The White House says he is a violent gang member and says that he will never return to the United States despite a court order that has ordered the administration to facilitate his return. And this case has become a real touchstone in the Trump administration's immigration blitz. They say that they're targeting criminals, and millions of voters have supported Donald Trump's promises to carry out mass deportations. But this case has become a flashpoint because the government itself admits that it was a mistake, and courts and Democrats have raised concerns about a lack of due process. Now, Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen, he's the senator for the state where Mr. Abrego Garcia has been living with his American wife and child, has travelled to El Salvador to try and meet with him. He said it wasn't easy. He was seeking a meeting, kept getting denied. He even travelled to the terrorism confinement centre in El Salvador and was denied access. But he says that late yesterday local time, Mr. Abrego Garcia was brought to his hotel by authorities and they were allowed to meet. The senator learned that he's since been moved to a different facility with better conditions, but he is still really hoping to speak to his wife. Here's a bit more of what the senator had to say.
He still has no access to any news from the outside world and no ability to communicate with anybody in the outside world. His conversation with me was the first communication he'd had with anybody outside a prison since he was abducted. He said he felt very sad about being in a prison because he had not committed any crimes.
Now, Donald Trump, the US president, was asked about this meeting at the White House today. He called the senator a fake. He said Democrats don't really care about the fate of, he said, this prisoner, referring to Mr. Abrego Garcia. And he said again that Mr. Abrego Garcia is a violent gang member. Now, El Salvador's president also posted on social media about this meeting. He took a photo where the two men are sitting at a table. It appears that they have two drinks that look like cocktails in front of them. He appeared to almost be trolling about the situation in his post. He said Mr. Abrego Garcia had miraculously risen from, quote, death camps and torture and is now sipping margaritas in the tropical paradise of El Salvador. Senator Van Hollen actually addressed this when he returned to the US a short time ago. He said that people actually came and put those drinks on the table and that no one touched them. He sort of intimated that it was a bit of a setup. And he said that this is the lengths that El Salvador's president will go to deceive people about what's going on.